Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be comparing the S25 Ultra to the S24 base model. And you can basically substitute this with the S25 if that's something that you're looking forward to, or you're trying to find a comparison between those two phones, because the S24 is essentially the same phone as the 25. The 25 will just last a little bit longer on battery life, and it has better performance and slightly better build quality. That's about it. So right off the bat, you can tell there's going to be a size difference between these phones, obviously. The 24 base model or the 25 base model is going to be very small, very palmable, holdable, whereas with this one, it's going to be bigger. But this year with the Ultras, the design is a little bit more ergonomic, and it actually copies what these phones started. So the 24 and 24 Plus, it actually takes, a page out of the books of those phones and rounds off the edges to make it a better and more ergonomic experience, even down to the SIM injection hole. So on other Samsung devices, the SIM injection hole is like right beside the microphone, but on the base model of the S24, it's on the opposite side of the mic, so you don't really have an issue with putting it into the wrong hole. And the same with the S25 Ultra now. Both of these devices have bright screens, and when I say both, I'm talking about including the S25 base model as well, because like I said, they're very similar phones. Both of them have bright screens, both of them have 120Hz screens. They are Samsung displays, so they're going to look really good in terms of watching videos and stuff like that. It's just the main difference is that this is bigger. Bigger equals a better video experience and a better gaming experience depending on who you are. Like I said, ergonomics improved a lot with this phone with the smoothed over edges. And I just think holding this phone is not going to be too much of an inconvenience or an uncomfortable experience from this phone. This phone, the 25 Ultra, is heavier, coming in at around 220 grams versus the S24 base model and the S25 around 170 grams. So, the 25 Ultra is going to be a lot heavier on paper than the 24. But, I mean, it's the price you pay for a bigger screen. And to be honest, this is pretty light for a big phone, a flagship device. So yeah, there is that difference. In terms of actually using these devices, for me personally, something I really care about is screen real estate and how the software adapts to the screen sizes. So when we're talking about multitasking on both these devices, so if I two-finger swipe at the bottom to enter into a split screen real quick, let's just choose YouTube. This is how split screen is going to look on both these devices. So I'll go to the home screen for YouTube. Split screen is going to look like this. And then the different incremental points, this is how it looks. And then if I go to the smallest point for YouTube, this is something that I like to do a lot. Have a video playing while I browse the internet or something like that. Or have a game at the top or whatever it is. So let's just choose a video. And boom, now we got a video playing on both of these. And this is how it looks in split screen with a video small at the top. So obviously you're going to have more screen real estate on the S25 Ultra. It's just going to be a better experience for multitasking and split screen. But to be honest, this is not a bad experience at all on the base model phone. I feel like because of how holdable it is, I really don't mind the screen size. Like, I think it just works pretty well. And then this is horizontal split screen with the video or the smaller app. And then we can increase the size incrementally. And this is how it looks as it changes. When you're actually doing a split screen and you're using one app very small, it's going to be a very similar experience to the small phone because it's going to be small anyways to fit the aspect ratio. Bigger screen equals, more flexibility for what you can do. But at the end of the day, the experience is going to be similar because of the software. This is the difference in watching a full screen video. You can see that the S25 Ultra is significantly bigger than the S24. But I think they are both good viewing experiences in my opinion. One big thing you'll notice with these screens is 25 Ultra, it has an anti-reflective screen, whereas the 24 base model and the 25 base model do not have that. So you can see the light passing through both of these screens, and the reflection basically covers up the whole screen and the whole image of what you see on the 24. Whereas with the 25 Ultra, it's faint, but it doesn't impact as much. And even though you still see reflections, one thing that I think people don't really take in is that there's less impact on your eyes. It doesn't hurt as much, to be honest, for me. Sometimes bright lights bouncing off of things will hurt my eyes, but with the 25 Ultra and the 24 Ultra, the anti-reflective screen actually helps with that a lot. So there's that to note. And then if we go into just a full website, we'll go to the same website on both phones, and then we'll see all the stuff we can see. So we are on the Samsung website homepage, and this is what you can see. So from the top where it says province, Ontario, to the lowest of the end of the screen, you actually see the same amount of information because of the aspect ratio. So even though the screen is bigger, it's still showing us the same amount of content as the smaller screen. But the benefit is that I guess it's easier to see because it's bigger. And then if you zoom in, you know, I feel like it's pretty much the same in terms of like the visibility and readability. But for some people, a bigger screen might be more beneficial. And then with the bigger screen, you can also, you know, have the text smaller, but still see a decent amount, things like that. You have more flexibility with the bigger screen. But in terms of like the actual content being shown on the screen, the difference is very negligible and you see kind of the same amount of information. So that is something interesting to note. The next thing we'll compare is actually gaming and how that impacts what you see in the game. So the specific game I'll check is Wild Rift. Depending on the game, you might have a different experience, but this is a game I play a lot, and actually like the phone size, the screen size, you know, the viewing experience, all that stuff kind of impacts how you play the game. So I want to just check like the controls and things like that and how it looks. This is how it looks on both screens when you're in the game. So I'm using the same exact character, same map, everything. And as you can see with the 25 Ultra, when you look at the screens, you can see that you're basically seeing the same amount of information. Slightly at the edge, if you look at the edge right here, you can see another line of the ground over there at the top right. But you're not seeing that much more on the bigger screen. It doesn't necessarily impact your experience that much to have a bigger screen in this game, other than visibility for your own eyes and what you can see. And like the ergonomics, I feel like are pretty good on the 25 Ultra. Definitely enjoyable, and you can customize all the controls here to, you know, fit your playstyle better or fit your own hands better. But I feel like both of these phones are ergonomic and very easy to play this game. I have no issues, you know, landing skills, aiming, things like that. If you do a skill like this and it goes across the map, this is what it looks like. You can aim it. Then on the 25 Ultra, same skill. See how it moves the screen? You can also turn that on in settings. I'll show you that on the other phone again. But aiming the skill, boom, that's how it looks. This is what the aim panel looks like on this phone. So it moves up. And yeah, the experience is not too different, other than, like I said, the screen size and how that impacts your own eyes, you know. But in terms of the information you see on the screen, it's not that different at all. And the ergonomics are good on both phones. I feel like this being slightly bigger is a better holding experience. Kind of like controllers, you know, it's not the nicest to use a smaller controller unless your hands are small. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. But I do find my fingers sliding at the back. So this is just, I guess, information for people who play games or like hold your phone horizontally and things like that. And also are concerned about like the content on the screen. And then if you're somebody who multitasks with floating windows, this is how a floating window will look on each of these screens and how it compares. Smallest size across like that, rotate the phones, and boom. So this is how floating windows will look on each screen, and very similar sizes, but again, look at how small this screen is. You have less room to work with, whereas on the S24 Ultra, you can do so many more things with floating windows. And, you know, Samsung devices are just OP when it comes to multitasking, and you can have so many floating windows at one time and manipulate all of them and do different things. Sounds crazy, but I actually use multiple floating windows at one time, and then you can drag it off to the side like that, and it just works really well and nice. 24 Ultra, this is how it looks, doing the same thing. Turn Chrome into a floating window as well, and then grab like something else, and grab something else like messages. Then boom, I have all these floating windows that I can toss to the side, and just showing you how it looks on the different screen size. So smaller screen and bigger screen. Same type of functionality, same features, just a different screen size and very similar amount of information shown, but again, way more space to work with. It doesn't look like that much low key, but in person and actually using it, it's it definitely makes a difference to have a bigger screen for this kind of stuff, if you do that kind of stuff anyways. Another benefit of the Ultras, the S25 Ultra has the S Pen, so you can use that for a bunch of different things like drawing, navigating your device with precision. You can use it to write in text boxes, use it to take quick notes, and just so many different things that you can do with the S Pen on this device that make it really good. And also, like, it's a high quality pen that has a low latency, which means you can actually use it for art. It has, you know, pressure sensitivity, tilt sensitivity, all that kind of stuff. And it low-key rivals the Apple Pencil and those things. Really good stylus for actually getting work done, but also, you know, art, if that's something that you're into. It is a small screen to kind of do art on, but the screen is also really huge for a phone, and you can low-key do that kind of stuff here. Other differences, the S25 Ultra will have better performance than the 24, but the base model S25 actually has better, from what I've seen, better sustained performance than the S25 Ultra because of the new thermal management in the S25 base model. So the base model S25 is actually really good for performance, if that's something you're interested in terms of like gaming and stuff like that. Battery life is still going to be not as good as the Ultra phones, the S25 Ultra, but the S25 should be a little bit better than the S24 for battery life. The camera experience, again, the 25 Ultra will be the better camera. However, the S25 cameras are really good, and the S24 as well. And then in terms of like, you know, the USB-C port, transfer speeds are the same. Charging speeds is going to be a little bit faster on the S25 Ultra with 45 watts versus the 25 watts on the base S24 and the S25. Yeah, overall, very similar devices because they're Samsung devices. They run on One UI. You're going to have a very similar software experience. It's just a matter of the size and ergonomics, the weight, things like that, versus, you know, bigger size but bigger battery, better cameras. You get the S Pen, you get faster charging, things like that. Like, you know, what do you value the most? You have the anti-reflective screen, but this phone, it's amazing because of how small it is, yet how capable it is. Samsung Dex, plug this phone into a screen, you have a whole computer type of interface coming from your phone, and it's just very capable. The S25, like I said, is really good with performance, and the battery life is not bad at all. So, you know, smaller phones, you're sacrificing the size, but you're also gaining a really powerful device. And then with the bigger phone, you're sacrificing the ergonomics and the small real estate that it takes up in your pocket and stuff like that. But then you're gaining a very capable phone with really good cameras, good battery life, S Pen, anti-reflective screen, etc. So for the people considering between these two phones, comes down to what you value. Like I said, for me personally, which one I like the best, it's got to be the S25 Ultra, just because I like having the most features. I value battery life, and one of the most important things is this anti-reflective screen is just really nice. So S25 Ultra is the phone for me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which one would you rather? Which one would you choose? I do have camera comparison coming between the S24 base model and the S25 Ultra. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. Until the next video though, we are out. Peace.